how to get people to buy from you. If I'm talking about selling, for example, a $60,000 product, I might be breaking that down into $5,000 a month for a 12-month contract rather than $60,000. You want people to make decisions now, so give them reasons to buy from you today. It might be a Black Friday sale. It might be an end of financial year sale. It might be an end of calendar year sale. Limited offers work powerfully because they cause people to take action now. The power of the first impression. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So how you show up on social media, for example, is important because welcome to the Results-Based Marketing Podcast, the podcast for business owners looking to leverage wildly profitable and cutting-edge marketing, lead generation, and lead nurture campaigns in their business. I'm Simon Cryer, the founder of Automate Convert, where we've literally helped clients generate millions, hundreds of millions of dollars using the exact strategies that I'm going to share with you in this podcast. So if you want to automate, convert, and dominate your industry, you're in the right place at the right time. Let's get started. Thanks for being here. Hey guys, welcome to this podcast episode. I'm super excited today to talk to you about one of my favorite subjects, which is how to get people to buy from you. First thing I want to do is talk about this thing called the halo effect, which is the power of the first impression. Because my mother used to say you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So how you show up on social media, for example, is important because people are going to be forming an impression of you. Like, are you likable? Are you trustworthy? Do you hold authority? Are you a subject matter expert? Do I like this person, right? So if there's pictures of you with lots and lots of alcohol, doing all that sort of stuff, eating KFC or living a lifestyle which is less than desirable, you might want to think about cleaning things up a little bit if you're going to be using social media as part of your branding or positioning. So we call this the halo effect. So a lot of my social media, for example, if you're following me on Instagram at Simon Cryer, the tag is right here, you'll be able to see how I show up, for example, because I'm aware of the halo effect and the power of the first impression. Second thing I want to talk about today is the Peltzman effect, which is a fancy way of saying how to lower perceived risk. So when I am pitching to somebody or doing a presentation for someone, taking them through a strategy session where I've outlined their problems, I've outlined their business, the challenges that their organization is facing at the moment, I'm going to give them a couple of options, which I'll talk about in just a sec. But when I want them to say yes to something, I really want to reduce the perceived risk. So if I'm talking about selling, for example, a $60,000 product, I might be breaking that down into $5,000 a month for a 12-month contract rather than $60,000. It's called the reduction to the ridiculous, where instead you might even break that down to a daily amount. So for example, you might use the reduction to the ridiculous to say, hey, instead of saying 60,000, it's like, hey, it's just $168 a day. Right? And what could you do for $168 a day? You could buy a new pair of shoes, I guess, new pair of runners. So that might be a way of lowering perceived risk. Then what I like to do is I like to match that with the benefit. So the investment is with the benefit. So if selling a high ticket item, like a $60,000, which is a $5,000 a month option, and I know that the average transaction value is $30,000 per the client to, let's say, sell an investment property, for example, they make $30,000. I say, well, basically, to cover the costs of us, it's just 2 deals a year. And I wouldn't even be wasting my time or yours getting on a phone call like this if I didn't hand on heart believe that I could give you at least 2 in an entire year. Right? I always want them to feel like it's going to be strategic malpractice or stupid for them to say no to this offer. This is how I craft an irresistible offer. I want to do the reduction to the ridiculous. And I want to say, hey, all this means is that we just need to get 2 clients in an entire year to be better than break even. Does that make sense? Here's what we might be able to, that's what I say, by the way, to get them to say yes to is like, does that make sense? Do you see how that works for you? Can you imagine doing this? That might be what we call a trial close. Then you might say, look, after 6 months, if you're not feeling, you're not seeing, you're getting real results here, I'll let you tear up our agreement and we'll walk away as friends. Would that be okay? That be okay is also a trial close, and it's letting them off the hook. It's giving them a face saving out, and it's lowering the perceived risk of doing business with you. A couple of things on there on lowering risk: reduction to the ridiculous, linking it to the value that they'll get, and also offering an ironclad money-back guarantee. You might even say, hey, listen, if we don't get this in place for you in 6 months, you haven't got any results, we're going to work for free until you get the result. Then you're still in the game and they're still in the game. And again, you're just lowering the perceived risk. Hope that helps. Hey, if you're a business owner making between 1 and 5 million a year and you want more consistent qualified leads to grow your business, then why don't we have a complimentary chat? I'm looking to personally invest $26,000 into 7 individual businesses right now who are serious about scaling. Book in a call with me and my team using the link in the show notes below to see if you qualify. Now back to the episode. Next, I want to talk about the recency effect, because the more recent information carries more weight. This is why content is king. This is why you stepping up your consistency and frequency of content, delivering more value, really positions you as the go-to expert compared to your lazy competitors out there who aren't really giving content the justice it deserves. You're more memorable in the eyes of your customer. You're more valuable in the eyes of your potential customer as well. And you really give them an opportunity to get into your world because you're investing in their world. You're investing and giving into their business. So you're creating this exchange. It could be energetic exchange, right? If you want to go full woo-woo, but you're sowing into them for it eventually to make a withdrawal. So it's like a bank account. You've got a relational business bank account with the relationship of your potential ideal customers. The more deposits you make, the more rights you have to ask for a withdrawal. Instead of saying, I want to withdraw something of an account that I haven't even opened yet, you've got to open the account, you've got to make deposits of value, and then you can ask to do business because they know, like, and trust you. You give them plenty of opportunities to do that. And so that's why you want to be frequent. That's why you want to be consistent. That's why you want to be committed to delivering value as often as you can. Once I call it FOMO. Lots of people call it FOMO. It's fear of missing out and loss aversion. People hate missing out on stuff, right? This is why it's really important to set deadlines, to have limited supply, to create scarcity and urgency. You don't want people to make decisions. You want people to make decisions now. So give them reasons to buy from you today. It might be a Black Friday sale. It might be an end of financial year sale. It might be an end of calendar year sale. It might be a Valentine's Day sale. Limited offers work powerfully because they cause people to take action now. Otherwise, they're going to miss out entirely because doors are closing, or they might miss out on saving, or they might miss out on the entire thing. Like, hey, when this is gone, this is gone. We say stuff like that in copywriting all the time. And of course, it's obvious that when it's gone, right? But it's saying it because it develops an emotional trigger of the fear of loss, and it works super, super powerfully. When you can incorporate it, and you should be in your offers, create that scarcity and urgency to tap into the fear of loss. Super powerful. Another thing that I'm a really big fan of is letting people off the hook. You're never, ever going to win an argument by making someone feel wrong, especially if you're asking them for money, right? So get on their side, be on their team. Tell them it's not their fault. Say, hey, listen, if your business has been going through A, B, and C, bad thing, it might be inflation, it might be rising costs, it might be not enough prospects, not enough leads, not enough appointments. Hey, it's not your fault. The economy is this, that, and the other, or the government is this, or maybe they secretly blame their partner for their failure right now, or the government, or the banks, or their education, their teacher, right? So get on their team and let them off the hook, right? Otherwise, no one's going to part with their hard-earned cash if you're making them wrong. And one bonus thing that I want to talk about is the one thing in your offer creation, in your copywriting. I want you to think about what is the one big thing that you're offering, the one big claim, the one big promise, the one big domino that's going to knock over all the dominoes. Why is the one thing so important? Because of the dilution effect. To try and get people to say yes to something, it's much easier to get them to say yes to one thing than it is to say yes to 5 things. Like if I'm talking about politics, I'm going to blow away half of my audience right from the start, regardless of which side I'm on, left or right. I'm on the right side, but whatever, right? So I'm not even going to have a talk about that because I'll blow away my audience. I'll dilute that effect. And then if I talk about other things that I have to get them to say yes to, each time I have a point that I have to get them to agree with, I'm going to lose a certain section of my audience. So if I just talk about the one thing that matters most in the eyes of my audience, then I'm going to be safe. Then my offer is going to be more powerful because it's more potent. I'm just getting them to do the one thing that's going to knock over all of the objections that they have. It's going to solve all of the problems that they have. And it's the one thing that has scarcity and urgency and all the other elements that I'm on their side. I haven't made them wrong. It's a compelling offer. It's irresistible. There's urgency and there's scarcity, and it's value like crazy. And I've got a massive call to action. Bam. That's going to be the one thing which is a standout lay down misere offer. Happy marketing, guys. Thanks for joining in the podcast. I'll see you on the next one. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to Results-Based Marketing. If today's episode gave you valuable insights into maximizing your marketing efforts, we'd love your support. Please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform. Let's keep the conversation going. Connect with me on socials at Simon Cryer. All the links for me are in the show notes below. And happy marketing. Thank you so much for your attention.